So welcome back to DC's Silver Age Storytime, and today's story comes from Superman number 29 from July-August 1944, with story by Ed Dubrotka and story by Don Cameron and art by Ed Dubrotka. And I like this cover. You're my Superman. Don't you wish you could wish your way to health, wealth, happiness, whatever your heart desires? A lot of people in Metropolis do just that when the prankster, the ribald rogue of mirthful menace, embarks upon the astounding career of granting wishes to all without cost or obligation. Of course, there's a wish of his own behind it, a greedy wish for millions and easy loot, and a grim lesson at the end when Superman proves that selfish wishes can be double-edged even for the Wizard of Wishes. So the prankster, having busted out of prison, is walking along in his regular old outfit. I wish I had money, a place to hide, and a few days disguise for an idea for a new racket. But he's not paying attention. He gets hit by a car and taken off to the hospital. Ooh, where am I? Ooh, what happened? He's coming to, Mr. Jocelyn. Thank goodness. You're in a hospital, sir. Your injuries aren't serious, but the doctor says you need a few days' rest. I am James Jocelyn, owner of the car that hit you. Please accept this $10,000 with my apologies. $10,000? I spent a few days here, bandages on my face. Practically all my wishes have come true. And $10,000 in 1944 was a lot of money. Wishes, the one luxury in which all men indulge. I'd gladly give my millions if I could have the one thing I have never ceased to wish for. You mean with all your money, you're wishing for something you can't have? I wish I could find happiness, the one priceless thing I lost sight of while I was busy making money. Now all my wishes have come true. So he opens up a place called the Wizard of Wishes. Makes your wishes come true. Absolutely free. I am Miss Wingate. Mrs. Wingate, the police are holding my husband George for burglary, but I know he is innocent, and I wish they'd let him come back to me. Step this way. I'm sure the wizard will help you. Josie implores him to get her husband back. You say your husband knew Blackie Reese, the crook. They went to school together, but George hadn't seen him in years, till 2 days ago. Reese wanted him to help burglarize the jewelry store where he was employed, but George refused. That night the store was robbed, and the police found some of the loot hidden in our yard. I told them George had been home all night, but they seemed to think I was saying so just to protect him. Go home, madam, and prepare your husband's dinner. I promise you he will be home to eat it. I'll do it. Somehow I believe you. Not bad, considering I had to watch her through mirrors and carry on my conversation by radio. Nobody will ever discover that the prankster and his old pal, the professor, are behind the Wizard of Wishes. But I still don't see how we're going to make any money out of this. And his gang is also confused. Now, don't ask so many questions, and get ready to pay a little visit to Blackie Reese. We'll take that dictaphone recording machine along. Anything you say, Chief. Meanwhile, Lois Lane is also on the trail of Blackie Reese, who she also thinks that George Wingate was framed. And Superman is spying on her. I hardly knew you with them bandages, prankster. Thanks for the congratulations on the jewelry store job. I sure fixed Wingate the sap, hiding part of the swag in his yard and tipping off the cops. Funny, isn't it? Especially since I have a recording of your confession, and I'm going to turn it and you over to the police. And he pulls a gun on Blackie. But Lois Lane falls through the window right onto the prankster. And Blackie's gang comes in and grabs Lois Lane. But unfortunately for them, Superman also comes in. I'm surprised at you, Blackie. Haven't you heard that Miss Lane goes around with a bulletproof bodyguard? So he knocks them around while the prankster makes his exit. Golly, prankster, we seen Superman and figured you was done for. Where's the recording machine? Superman will do us the favor of taking Blackie and the evidence to police headquarters, and we need only go back where we came from, but fast. The prankster got away, but he made a recording of Blackie's confession to the robbery Wingate was arrested for, and was going to send Blackie to prison. The prankster. I didn't even realize the little fellow with the bandages was him, even though he has exactly the prankster's outfit and physique. unique physique. I was so busy protecting you. Why should he, of all people, be doing favors for the law? But they do release Wingate, and he goes back to his wife, and the wish comes true. Yes, he promised me that George would be home by dinner, and he kept his word. Wizards of Wishes, what a story. So she writes a story about that, and all sorts of folks are going to the Wizard of Wishes to get their own wishes. Please excuse my interruption, but I wish I could find the prankster, and I'm in a big hurry. What is the meaning of this unmannerly intrusion? Superman, it's hollow, but there's nothing inside except a radio receiver and loudspeaker in the head. Whoever runs the show does it by remote control. Put me down, rash one. Why should you interfere if my modesty prompts me to remain anonymous while I help suffering humanity? The fact is, wizard, I'm suspicious of you. To prove my good faith, make a wish, and I shall grant it, but it shall be a worthy wish, not the one you made when you entered and spoiled by your own silly behavior. I'll take you up on that. Let me see. If I return to the office immediately as Clark Kent, no one can possibly beat me to this story about myself. So he takes, he accepts the offer. Meanwhile, Lois Lane was peeking in, and she does end up scooping him. So he writes a story saying that even Superman's wish came true. This settles it. Superman wouldn't have let himself be fooled by any fake. So that's James Jocelyn, the multimillionaire who goes to the Wizard of Wishes. You've done well to come to me, Jocelyn. Money can bring happiness only as it is used to make others happy. Are you willing to trust me implicitly if I tell you how to gain your goal? I'd never have come otherwise. Your millions could finance many scholars, scientists, and inventors in their work, and the tremendous profits that would result would be used to help humanity still further. A magnificent idea. How can I carry it out? Bring me all your money except what you must keep for immediate living expenses. Then I will reveal the final details of my plan. I'll start getting it together right away. Thank you, wizard. You've already made me happier than I've been in years. But Clark Kent was listening in. Mr. Jocelyn, have you been making wishes too? He's talking to Lois. Yes, Miss Lane. Because of Superman's experience, I'm about to stake my entire fortune on one bold bid for happiness. If only he knew what Superman really thinks about the wizard. Somehow I'll have to keep him from making a fool of himself. Oh, thank you, wizard. He said, do you see the master ingenuity of my plan, Professor? Prankster, you are a wizard. Think of it. Jocelyn's millions are practically ours. But Lois is standing right behind him, and they spot her and grab her. Would you like to make a wish? Make a last wish before I lock you in, my pretty one? Yes, I wish Superman would show up, and he does. But only after he gets her in the statue. Quite a joke, isn't it, you giggling sneak thief? We're sunk. Funnier than you think, Superman. There's a radio bomb inside the figure which will explode if I press this button, with sad results for Miss Lane. It's true. I can see dynamite and a radio detonator. I can't take a chance on Lois's life. Go away and don't interfere, and I promise you will find her here alive tomorrow. Otherwise, I shall reluctantly be forced to blow her into a million pieces. So Superman does leave. But he talks to Jocelyn. At last, happiness is mine, Superman. What, Superman? If you aren't in too big a hurry to become a poor man, I'd like a few minutes of your time. So he discusses stuff with Jocelyn, what's going on, and Jocelyn comes in with a suitcase full of money. Perhaps I have no right to be happy with all the sadness there is in the world. Perhaps the most unselfish thing I can do is stay rich and miserable. What? No, you mustn't do that. Your days of wealth are over, Jocelyn. Professor, call the boys in the back room to take care of him. Right away, prankster. Did he call you prankster? And are you planning violence? Oh, I wish I were Superman. And then he is, because it was a disguise. Don't forget Lois Lane is still on the statue, and I still have the radio detonator. I'm not forgetting anything, but you can't take it from your pocket if you haven't any pockets. Uh-oh, this is serious. How'd you rats like to have me do this to you? Superman, thank goodness. What do you think? Do you mind holding this, Miss Lane? I'm going to be busy for a second. Perhaps I'd better busy myself finding a place to hide. Anything I can do to help will be a pleasure. So he rounds up all the criminals. One thing I've always been sorry for, Prankster, is that you're too small to punch. Glad you mentioned it. I was just thinking I didn't have a thing to be thankful for, but now I have. So Superman has rounded up all the criminals. That's right, and I'd never have had the benefit of the wizard's advice about helping worthy people. You know, Prankster, I'm going to take your advice. I'm sure it will bring me happiness. Think of it, Prankster. You've made his wish come true. And for what? I almost wish I was back in prison. Hey, I only said I almost wish I was back in prison. This is one case where almost is good enough for me. I'm getting almost one of the biggest stories ever printed. As a wizard of wishes, Prankster, you've done all right. You've made everybody happy except yourself. I doubt if Superman will ever be that busy. Oh, I could feel worse. As soon as I hear you're too busy to bother with me, I can wish myself out of prison again. Ho, 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 ho. Goodbye, Superman. I'll borrow a typewriter from the warden to write my story and telegraph it in. That way my scoop will come as a complete surprise to Clark Kent. Maybe you'd better do some powerful wishing. This is a pretty good story. I like the prankster's plot in this one was well thought out.